we'll just get the preliminary, the preamble, the pre-thingamajig. Looks like YouTube still hasn't gone live. YouTube? What is happening? There I am. Hey. Good to see you on the YouTubes. All right. Sorry. I got to watch two screens at once here. I got to watch Facebook. I got to watch YouTube. I got to make sure I don't miss any comments from you guys. It's my little very poor Nick Saban impression. Hi, I'm over here. I'm trying to have a live stream. I got to make sure Facebook and YouTube are doing what I need them to do. Hi, if they're doing what they need to do, then everything's great. And I got a live stream. But if they're not, I don't know. I'm 6 feet under, dead and gone, buried. All right. Anyway, that's the end of my Nick Saban impression. Which, if you're not a fan of college football, and I get it, you might not be, then for your edification, Nick Saban is arguably the greatest college football coach of all times. He has had a phenomenal run, not just at Alabama. He won a national championship when he was the coach of LSU. But it's at Alabama that he has built his legacy. 6 national titles there. It's crazy. It's nuts. But anyway, enough of that. Enough of that college football talk. That's for another live stream that I do. I do want to mention, speaking of live streaming, so at user request, I have proceeded to put in motion a plan, an idea, if you will. You guys, hey Rob, here I am. You guys asked for it, and I'm going to do it. So in the near future, not in the far future, not talking like, Dune or Warhammer 40K or even Star Trek levels of future here, but in the near future, I am going to start an example game, a play example game. Now, I already have 2 people who've signed up to participate. It's going to fill the Tuesday slot. So basically, on Tuesdays, for an hour and 10 or an hour and 15 minutes, I will be playing a session of 1st edition Advanced Dungeons & Dragons to explore the concepts that I have discussed these last couple of months with you guys. The things that we've gone over, not just from a player standpoint, but from a DMing standpoint. And we'll go through that. Hello, IR. Hello, Rob. And hello, Adam, just in case I didn't say hello to you, Adam, but I think I did. But Tuesdays, we'll be doing that. All right? Now, I love a big group. Don't get me wrong. My Monday night group is 13 dedicated players. 13 dedicated players on Monday night. I don't mean I've got a floating attendance list of 13 people. And if some of them show up then, and some of them show up then, and I run it all again. No. Monday night, 13 really great folks show up and we play. And people often ask me, they're like, oh, that's insane. How can you game with that many people? It's easy. I've talked about how I game with that many people before. But the Tuesday time slot is a different scope. And because we're going to be pausing the game periodically, and I'm going to be stepping back from the table and explaining concepts and asking the players to explain concepts to you guys. Because that's going to be going on. The number of players that I will have will necessarily be limited. I'm thinking 4, possibly if somebody really wants to get in and can dedicate to that slot, maybe 5. But the important thing is it's not going to be any bigger than that, okay? It is literally just a pickup game, and there will be frequent pauses in the game while we go over concepts. So if this sounds like something that you would be interested in, I'm taking this on a first come, first serve basis, with the caveat that you have watched or at least followed along with the How to Play AD&D series. If you've never played AD&D before, if you're new to the channel, like, you started playing in late 3.5, you played a bunch of Pathfinder, you jumped over to 5e, and you're like, hey, this old school thing sounds pretty good. For now, just watch if you haven't seen the whole series. Now, if you have followed the whole series and you say to me, Bill, I'm ready to put this into practice. I rolled up a character. I bought the PDFs and got print-on-demand books, like you said, and I'm ready to play. Then hit me up on the Discord and be able to winnow out an attention-paying time from 12:30 Eastern until 1:40, 1:45-ish, maybe even 2 o'clock Eastern every Tuesday. And once I get that select group of players, once they're all in and they're ready to play, then we're going to start. And we're going to start from start. We're going to start from 0. Okay? We're going to start with creating characters. Each player is going to create a character so you guys can see and you guys can watch it being done live. Any magic users, I'll start them out with their spell books, so on and etc. And I'm not going to use Appendix P. All right. Now, I've talked about Appendix P a little bit, and here's a little short how to play thing. All right. If you've got a large group and you by necessity or desire want to give them a little bit of a mulligan, a little bit more, a little bit something better than the average player character might have. In the back of the Dungeon Master's Guide, now let's take a look at this. Let me open this up. Where is it? No, I feel you, ER and Adam. Look, if I can't get a good stack of players on Tuesday afternoon at that time slot, I may move it to a more amenable evening time. So it would still be focused on Eastern Standard Time. It would still be like something on Eastern. So I'd come in and I'd do a Tuesday show, and then Tuesday night we'd come in and we have a play example. But it comes down to how many players. Now, if you're sitting out there and you're wondering, like, well, how do I reach out to you? Do I just leave something in the comments or what? No, you reach out to me on Discord. What's that you say? You have a Discord? Yes, I do. And I recently changed it around just a little bit because, man, all people, myself included, by the way, this is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. All people like to discuss all kinds of subjects. And like the other day, during that glorious 8-hour outage of Facebook, and after the what do you call it? The Twitch TV leaks. Oh boy, did we have a lot to talk about. So I changed things around a little bit. So there's now an off-topic channel. And then there's a The Show channel in my Discord. But again, if you're new, And you don't know from... You don't know from what we do on this channel and how we roll around here. Let me invite you over to the Discord. Oops. And come on over and say hi. Just stick your head in it and say, hello. We're nice people. And you can swing by. And join in the Discord. And that'll be awesome. I like it when people join and hang around. Like, for example, we're now at 803 subs on this channel. How cool is that? 803 subs. We are 197 people away from the Great Underground Virtual Con. I am excited. I am hyped. Guys, we're so close. We're so crazy close. And it makes me happy. I feel you, Rob. 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. May change 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Monday to Thursday. I'll tell you what. Once upon a time, I worked for a corporate data center. And before I went to 9 to 5 PC support in that company, Monday to Friday, we worked from, it was 24-hour a day support, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. or 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And the shifts ran Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. The long shifts ran Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then on the back half of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And coming off a long week, knowing you had a short weekend, but a short week after it, and then a long weekend was awesome. Looking down the barrel of having 4 days in a row off. But when I got married, there was a shift differential. It was technically an houred position, and there was a shift differential, and it was pretty significant for the amount of money I was making back in 1998. And I said, hey, for a quarter, that is for, from, oh gosh, I think it was... Well, it was from January to March, is when it was from. I want to take a night shift if anybody wants to come over to the day. And you think, oh, okay, that's just the same, but that's going to bed at lunchtime at the latest, and then getting up at 6:30 in the evening and going to work. And that messed with me. Let me tell you what. Even on the short weeks, it was like not worth it, because what was I supposed to do on my days off? It's like I needed a day to readjust, and then on the short weekends, that's one day to be a day walker. Because by the time that last night of the weekend or last weekend day, last off day comes, I got to readjust my schedule back. And on the long weeks of 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., my body would just get in that mode. So I was not able to enjoy the time off that I had. I'd have like 2 days at most during a week of relative waking normalcy. That sucked. It was not worth the money that I got. Because the shift diff didn't really roll in and help me out on my honeymoon, which is what I did it for. Like for quite a while. It didn't start showing up on my paychecks for quite a while. Now, when I shifted over to days, it was nice to get the month back pay delay shift differential, like see that start popping. I'm like, oh, holy cow, yeah, heck. I'm going to Best Buy and buying one of those new Pentium 2 computers, you know. But yeah, it was crazy times, and I feel for you if you're working those kinds of shifts, Rob. I really do. Maybe you love it, but I'll tell you this. During that time, I watched like a Dateline on NBC or something like that. And they were just talking about the American worker and this factory that made auto glass or something automotive related with the windows. And they had gone from being one of the most productive companies in the world to like, things were a mess. Things were an absolute disaster. Because at this time, the economy was booming and everybody was buying everything. So factories were open, shops were just, it was huge. It was huge. And this company's business was very much in demand. And they were trying to track what they'd done. And like they'd had an employee take their own life. They had to hire a couple of psychologists. They had gone to 24-hour, 7 a.m., 7 p.m., 7 p.m., 7 a.m., 4-day, 3-day shifts to meet the demand. And it was eating up the minds of these workers. So I think that's all we need to say about, you know, asking. So, and I mean, our computers at that time were not active from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. They were on ACH, Automated Clearinghouse programs. We didn't have to initiate anything. We didn't have to monitor jobs. On the rare chance, on the scant chance that something went wrong, it was usually a communication error, and we just forwarded it over to the comms people, and the comms people worked on it. It was rarely the IBM stuff that had an issue. So, yeah, it was 12 hours a night, 3 nights a week, or 4 nights a week, depending, of sitting on our hands, just staring at the walls. So, you know, make of that what you will. But let's move on. Let's talk about D&D and Appendix P for you and me. Now, let's see. And I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. We're on page 225 of the Dungeon Master's Guide. Let me see here. Let me pop this in. There we go. All right. Now, this is something that I use judiciously because I think it's fun. And that's really ultimately where we're at with D&D, right? We do it because it's fun. We do things because it's fun. Sometimes, and particularly as a little bit of candy to entice new players, you might want to have a party, or at the very least a character, start out with the ability, or not the ability, start out with the advantage, that's the word, with the advantage of having their own magic items to start, that they don't have to wade through a hojillion kobolds before they even get a potion of healing. And that's where Appendix P comes in. And trust me, this is not a Monty Hall system for giving out magic items. It's not. But Appendix P is creating a party on the spur of the moment. I guess P for party, right? And again, we're on page 225 of the Dungeon Master's Guide. Depending on what revision of the DMG you might have, I have seen this table on different, like on page 226 in some print copies. And there are some extremely early copies of the Dungeon Master's Guide that don't even have the appendices past Appendix M. No inspirational reading, no encumbrance, no creating a party on the spur of the moment. and no glossary. But let's look at this. So, and this isn't just for giving out presents to new players. It also helps you with creating characters if you're going to run an event, which I hope you all do. I hope you go to your local comic book shop or to a con that has a gaming area, be it a Comic-Con or whatever, and I hope you run some first edition AD&D. Well, here's a section to help you out with doing that. So this is creating a party on the spur of the moment. There are times, often if you attend many conventions, when you will have a group of players desiring to adventure in your campaign who have no suitable characters with which to do so. You might want only low, medium, or high-level characters for the particular scenario you have in mind, and regardless of level, it is certain that you will not wish to have ultra-powerful, considering character level, or strange magic items in the group. It therefore becomes necessary to have the party generate special characters on the spot, and this takes up valuable playing time. In order to reduce this to a minimum, the following system, one which I have developed perforce from DMing many conventions, is suggested. All right. Abilities. Players roll 4d6, discard the lowest die, and arrange the scores as they like. Race and class. After generating ability stats, each player selects the race and the class of his or her character as desired, making adjustments accordingly, noting that, elves get a bonus to intelligence and so on. Alignment. Make sure that the alignments allowed to participants are not so diverse as to cause a breakdown in the game due to player quarrels. You may require players to select from 2 or 3 compatible alignment types if you think best, such as neutral, neutral good, and lawful neutral, for example. Level. For low level, you might use random dice to find out if players are levels 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 2 to 4. Medium range might be 5 to 7, 5 to 8, 7 to 9. Upper range is typically 8 to 10, 8 to 11, or 9 to 12. Multi-class races are best handled by adding 1 level per profession to the level generated and then dividing the total by the number of classes involved, counting all fractions as whole numbers. Standard equipment. Assuming that these are not first level characters, you will probably find it best to allow them to take whatever is desired, reminding them that they can only carry so much, and then quickly checking the character sheets before the start of the adventure. Whatever restrictions you decide to place upon standard items is, of course, your own business. Technologically impossible items and items that you deem unlikely to be used can always be refused to the party. So, the character who's like, anything, eh? I'll take a war galleon. Well, you're in the deep desert, so it's either splashing around in an oasis or sitting in the sand. Rethink it, Chief. Now, this is the part that I find useful for at-table games, not even necessarily only for cons. If the party is assumed to have been adventuring for some time, however brief, then it is probable that one or more of their number would have acquired certain magic items in order to reflect this likelihood. Use the following tables for the various classes of adventurers as applicable to your group. So we start out and we look here, and we're on page 226 now. Now have a quick look. Hello, Samoli. Good to see you. So protective items table. Per level chance for shield, armor, etc. Typically +1. Typically, and we'll get to that in a minute. So we have character classes down the line. Note that bards aren't listed. Bards are not listed, and I'm going to do a little bit of house ruling in just a second after we go across this table. Character class, cleric. We have the character class lists. You guys know the character classes. The monk is also not listed, but monks typically don't get that much in the way of magic items. particularly not protective ones. So, but we have shield, plate, banded, chain, and leather armor types. Note that scale mail is not listed. Padded armor, there's no magical padded armor. Ring of protection and bracers of defense, and there is a percentage chance listed. Now, of the armor types, universally, we have a double asterisk note. Only one sort of armor may be tried for, so the character must make a decision as to what type before the odds are computed and the percentile dice rolled. And typically, if you look here, the odds of getting lesser types of armor, lesser types of magical armor to start with, are greater across the board. So it's easier to say, I want to see if my character will start with magical chainmail instead of magical plate mail, or banded instead of plate, or chain instead of banded. So just keep that in mind. Bracers of defense. Magic users and illusionists might have bracers of defense, and it fixes the value. It's a hard value of AC 6. Now, I say it's a hard value of AC 6, but is it? So we look then at the descriptive paragraph. Multiply level by percentage chance to determine odds, then roll percentile dice. And if the score is equal to or less than the percentage chance, the character has the item. So what we do is if we look at chainmail and we go down to fighter. So Bob the fighter, who's participating in a tournament game, wants to know if he has magic chainmail, or you want to know if he starts with magic chainmail. You don't want to just say, yeah, you've got it, or yeah, you don't. You want to use the percentage chance. Well, Bob's starting at first level. So first level is 1 times 10. There's a 10% chance that Bob will have magical chainmail to start with. And this includes shield, by the way. There are a chance to get a shield. It's a little bit lower with rangers, but for clerics, fighters, and paladins, it's all 10% per level chance. Assassins, remember, assassins can use fighter-like weapons. They can use everything, I think, except plate mail. So even they have a percent chance to have a shield. There's also a chance for a ring of protection. See, magic users don't lose out. They have a magic user has a better chance of starting with a magical ring of protection if you're using this table, creating a party on the spur of the moment, than a first level fighter is to start out with plate mail. In fact, the magic user has a pretty darn good chance of having that ring of protection. In the words of Billy Mays, but wait, there's more. So what if you've got a character who, by dint of the dice and not DM fiat, has been the chosen one? Or is there a chance that could happen where they've really got some powerful item that their father or mother or uncle or whoever bequeathed them a magic item that is truly exceptional? Well, let's look at that at the percentage chance. There is a 1% chance per level experience of the character that any item will be above average, +2, or bracers of armor class 5, for example. If the chance of having the item was greater than 90%, add the percentage above 90% to the chance for the item to be above average. If the resulting roll indicates an above average item, then see if it goes up to +3, or bracers of AC 4 on a straight 1% per level of experience chance. So what we have here is, I'm going to grab some dice. Y'all pardon me for just a second. Okay. So let's say you're ginning up a 5th level fighter. So we're going to grab some percentile dice. And we're going to see about our hypothetical character here. So to dig out some percentile dice. Of having a truly exceptional magic item. And swords are fun. Swords are always a lot of fun. So let's take a look at a sword. And by the way, well, no, let's stick with protective items. I don't want to jump into swords just yet. I don't want to jump into weapons just yet. But what I'm saying to you, when I say by the way, what I'm saying is all items fall under this possibility. Your sword might be +2 instead of +1 if you get a magical one. All right? Or your mace or your battle axe or what have you. So let's see. Let's take a 6th level Bob the Fighter wants to check to see if he's got chainmail. Okay, so I rolled a 29. So Bob the Fighter has chainmail +1. Now there's a 5%, there's a 1% chance per level of the character that any item will be above average. So I roll again. I'll have to grab another percentile dice. I dropped one. I'll roll again. And in this case, any roll from a 1 to a 5 indicates that the item is actually +2. So let's see. Hey, I'm not making it up. I wish I could point the camera at this, but I rolled a 5. So Bob the Fighter has chainmail +2 to start. Now, is there a chance that it could go to +3, that we could keep rolling here? And the answer is yes. But we don't add anything to it because his initial chance was not above 90%. So let's see if that chainmail becomes +3 with a 5% chance. Guys, I swear to goodness, these are not loaded dice and I'm not lying to you. I just rolled a 2. So Bob has +3 chainmail. Is it +4 chainmail? Well, I rolled a 14. That's still in the basement, but no. So Bob, the fighter, at 5th level in the tournament game, Bob starts out with +3 chainmail. Now, if this had been a 1st level character and we'd gone for that chainmail, that's a 66. No. So, and let's check that. Now let's check the shield. Let's see. Does Bob have a magical shield? Bob, the 5th level fighter? He's got a 50% chance. 87. No. So Bob only has his magical chainmail. Now, let's talk about scrolls. Scrolls don't explode. But as Bob is a fighter, the only possible scroll type Bob can have is a protection scroll. Protection from undead, lycanthropes, whatever. Per level chance of Bob having that is 6%. As Bob is our example of 5th level, that's a 30% chance he's going to have a protection scroll. So let's roll it. 19. Bob has a protection scroll. Now, conveniently, there just happen to be 8 types of protection. So I can just roll a d8 and consult if I want. I may just say, Bob, you've got a scroll protection from lycanthropes because my adventure features lycanthropes in it. And I want to give Bob a fighting chance. At least see if he's on the ball. Or I might just want a dice for it. Oh, I rolled an 8. Well, let's scroll up a little bit. So we're on page 227. Let's scroll up a little bit and see what an 8 counting down on the scroll list might have gotten us. Pardon the scoliosis, guys. So, protection from demons is 1, devils is 2, elementals is 3, lycanthropes is 4, magic is 5, petrification is 6, possession is 7, undead is 8. Bob has a scroll, a protection from undead, and +3 chainmail. Bob's doing pretty good for himself. Now let's talk about weapons. Weapons follow armor. Now Bob wants to see, and it does indicate Chances for a +2 or +3 weapons are the same as for protective items. You may alternately give special features to sword instead of further pluses, i.e. +1 sword flame tongue or +2 sword giant slayer. Add a crossbow of speed to +2 bolts if a +3 is indicated. Otherwise, double their number only. So that's a little caveat about crossbows. But let's see if Bob the Fighter has a magic dagger. So we've got a 50% chance of Bob having a glowy letter opener. 79. Sorry, Bobo. All right. So sword type, they have to choose the type of sword. Two-handed, long sword, short sword, bastard sword, scimitar, etc. Bob's a purist. He's a traditionalist. Bob wants a shot at a long sword. A 50 exactly. All right. So Bob's got a longsword +1. But Bob has a chance of having a longsword +2 or something that I deign. A 5. So now it's up to me as the DM to say it's a +2 sword or it's a sword of ogre slaying, giant slaying, whatever. You know what? We'll just say it's a +2. So I don't want to get crazy. I don't want to give the farm away. And we'll see if he's got a +3. Now, if I roll a +3 possibility here, then I'm going to say that it is a special purpose sword. So 24. So no. So our tournament version of Bob or our version of Bob, if you want to bring characters in with a little bit extra when they start. He's rocking chainmail +3, a scroll of protection from undead, which is every kind of undead, by the way. All of them are Lich's undead. You better believe it. So 5th level character has a middling shot at being able to do something about a Lich. Or at least survive long enough to run away. But he has a sword +2. So this Bob is all right. There's a 1% chance Bob also has a magic bow. So, he's got a 5%, 1% chance per level. There's a 5% chance he might have a bow. Not this time. Not my tempo. All right. Now here, the monk comes in. The monk, per level, has a 5% chance of having a dagger and a 2% chance of having a spear. So if we had our 5th level monk, does he have a dagger? 25% chance. Hey, I rolled a 10. And then he's got a 5% chance of it being more than +1 dagger. No, that's a 34. And how about a spear? 5th level monk, 10% chance. No spear. So our poor monk only has a +1 dagger. But hey, he's got it, right? Been running my mouth so much. Got dust in my throat. Now, finally, the potions table. Again, the monks get left off of this, but there is a percentage chance per level of having a set number of potions. Magic users will have as many as 3 potions, while fighters only 1. So, Bob's 5th level, 8% chance per level, 5 times 8 is 40. And then there's a list over there. We'll dice on that if we end up with 1. Hey, a 36. So, we roll a d10 to see what Bob has got. 8. Healing, appropriate for a fighter. So, Bob the 5th level fighter for our tournament game has chainmail +3, a longsword +2, a scroll of protection from undead, and a potion of healing. Now, the next table I eschew because, generally speaking, people that come into the party in my campaign game, they come in, groups of 1 or 2 or 3. And this is miscellaneous items for a party above 5th level when going into a hazardous area. Or if the party is generally above 8th level, you might determine it advantageous to award from 1 to 4 miscellaneous items according to the following list. Large groups are less likely to need such items. Higher level characters are more likely to have them despite numbers. Selection can be by you or the party, or as you deem best. Always make it by you. Don't give those suckers an even break. You may add or delete items as desired, but remember that those shown are chosen to maintain a low key of power. There's no Robe of the Archmage here. There's no Heward's Mystical Organ. There's no Talisman of Zagi. Not even a Wand of Fireballs. But, although a Wand of Wonder is listed there. Now, there's 16 items. If you really want to make this random and not just pick from the list, I believe that there's a company that makes a 16-sided die so you can roll on. So you can check this if you want. Let's say that Bob is an attorney. He's at the Great Underground Virtual Con. All right? Virtual Game Convention. Bob is at the Great Underground Virtual Game Convention. And I want to determine if the group of players with Bob can get these items. Well, or which of these items they'll get. Now, I don't have a D16 handy, but I do have a D20, and I can just ignore 17 through 20. So, an 8. That is a Brooch of Shielding, which absorbs magic missile attacks. Which, given that they're... A quick note about the Brooch of Shielding. Given that it is ever present, that tells me that Gary wants bad guys to be magic missiling players. So just keep that in mind. Let's throw out another one just to see what we get. A Ring of Warmth. Hey, that's useful. And one more just for S&Gs, 16. Wings of Flying or Boots of Levitation? Well, I would say Boots of Levitation. Those boots were made for floating. That's just what they'll do. Now, if you get a Robe of Useful Items, let's see, that is 13. That's item 13. There's a list of items that you can put on it. Select 7 to 12 of these. Now, interestingly enough, for all the dice rolling we do, Gary didn't give these number values and say dice for them. But 7 to 12 indicates 1d6 plus 6 items. So we got a 5. So that's 11 items to pick. So you could go bonfire, cask, caltrops, crowbar, dagger, war dog, door, a gem, ladder, lantern, mountain stakes, meat, money, mule, oak tree, giant owl, standard digging pick, 10-foot pole, rooster, 50-foot coil of rope, shovel, flaming, a torch that's already lit when you pull it off the robe, and a normal wasp nest. Good for throwing at enemies. When you are thoroughly familiar with this system, you will be able to ready a party of players for an adventure with a minimum amount of time and effort on your part, and do so with relative assurance that they will be about right for the area they will adventure in. So that's Appendix P. And isn't that a lot of fun? And I have used this to kit out new players like it's my game, my average character level is now 7 on the big Monday night game. So if somebody comes in and they join the game and they say, yeah, I want to play a half-elf magic user. Well, that's not a problem. Half-elf magic user, you're starting at 7th level. Let's see, 7 times 15. You're guaranteed to have a ring of protection, and that is way over 90, so that's going to be 7 plus, let's see. Or is that over 90? Yeah. So 7 plus 15, there's a 22% chance that that ring of protection that they get is going to be +2. And I rolled a 10. So, yeah. Now there's a 7% chance it's going to be +3. And that's a 90. So, no. They have a 28% chance of having bracers AC 6. And 63. So, no. But that's how I do it when I have players joining the table. And yes, I will probably use this when I start the play examples games with a group. So there's Appendix P, and I hope you found that. Well, hello, Bob Jester. I hope you found that very helpful and very useful. Hey, Colleen, good to see you. Just leather armor. Glad I caught your stream this time. Well, it's good to see you, Declar. It's good to see you. Just leather armor wasn't a set. I figured as much. I was thinking fighters, assassins. My brain sort of slipping in half-orc gear there. But that is how I do. So do you guys have any questions or comments? Any comments, criticisms, negative, nasty remarks? And again, this is something that you don't have to do, but it's something that you can do. If you want to start your characters out, if you're just like, look, they're going to have to earn every single copper coin. They're going to have to fight. This is going to be a hard Scrabble. This is going to be like Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay on hard mode. You know, your characters may get attacked by kobolds with nail boards and die the first time, and I'll laugh about it. And you don't want to use it? That's entirely up to you. I think it helps spice things up, particularly if you've got a character coming into the game. You know, they're 7th level on my Monday night game. If somebody joins, they're going to join with a 7th level character. They've obviously been doing some adventuring. They're going to have gotten some odds and ends. Just probability dictates that they would have gotten odds and ends. Rob says, I finally made it to Discord. I'm not currently on Facebook, though. That's fine. You don't have to be on Facebook. In fact, I recommend that you don't use Facebook. I came close. Let me tell you what. I came close the other day when Facebook went down to just saying, you know what, screw it. I'm not going to bother anymore. I'm not going to do the twin simulcasting to Facebook. So this is for my friends over on Facebook. I'm here for you guys, okay? I am only on Facebook for y'all. I'm done with the dopamine switch of likes and comments and shit like that. I'm here for you guys. If anyone ever says to me, why don't you post on Facebook anymore, Bill? Or, you know, oh, I wish you'd post on Facebook. The people that I care about who are still on Facebook and still using it, I love you guys. I really do. But I can't and I won't. It's awful. The company is awful. The whole goddamn system is awful. So just understand, I do that for you guys who still want to watch on Facebook. Declar, yes, that is Drive-Thru RPG. Let me find that link real quick. Let's see. Let me see. There used to be... WotC used to own a domain called D&D Classics that you could go to find just earlier editions, but you now have to go through the Dungeon Masters Guild, or you can just go through RPG Now or Drive-Thru RPG. And they do the core AD&D books as print on demand. You can go get one print on demand. Now, I hate the idea of giving Wizards of the Coast money, but these are good scans, and you can just grab those. I put up the Player's Handbook, and I meant to put up the Dungeon Master's Guide. I did a boo-boo. Let's see. Let's see if there's a Players Who Bought This also bought. There we go. There we go. So it's $9 for the PDF, or you can get what's called a watermarked hardcover standard color and the PDF for $24.50. So there you go. It is a good option if you want to pick up, like if you're over many, many months, or many years, rather, I should say, not months, years, in the early 2000s, I ran convention games, and I always liked to be able to have players' handbooks to put at each station at the table so people could look in the player's handbook if they needed to look up any information about their character class. So I have a dozen copies of the player's handbook. And back in the early 2000s, you could still get one for about $20 or $30. Now they're obscenely priced. So if you want to do a convention thing and you want to do that, and you really want people to feel like they're out there participating, you know, they're really one in the table, you can get them. You can get them fairly inexpensively. If you don't want to give Drive-Thru, RPG Now, WotC any more money than you have to, buy the PDF and then take it over to Lulu and send it to Lulu and have them print it. Choose some printing options. And you can get like soft covers printed up. You know, if you're worried about somebody, like, you know, you're at a con, you got 16 people at your table, and somebody just kind of pockets one and then strolls off, you've only lost, you know, $8 or $10 for a softback copy. And you still got the PDFs. So Rob says, I know so little about Discord. I see a few forum names I recognize there. Can we listen to this stream there? Yes and no. I make it a point to link to the streams before they start, but Discord is just a group messaging service, not necessarily a media service. So when I put the links, if you click the links, it'll open, depending on what you click on. Like if you click on the URL that's at the top of Discord, like if you go to the Discord right now, if you go to my show Discord right now, and you look in the show, you'll see where this morning at 3:27, because my sleep cycle is completely broken, see the discussion at the beginning of the show, you'll see a windowed link on today's show with a play button in the middle. Above that, you'll see the shortened YouTube URL, u2.be/blah, blah, blah, blah. If you click the play button, it'll open, just a little 3x5 card size, depending on how big your monitor is. You could be using like a 72-inch TV as your monitor, in which case the screen would be that big. But it'll open a small window in Discord, and you can listen to the show there. But it's not really playing in Discord. It is, but it isn't. But if you click the URL, it'll just pop open whatever you have set as your default browser. It'll ask you first. It'll say, hey, do you really want to go there? But as far as embedding shows, the videos in Discord, I can't, because Discord can only take 8 megabyte or less size uploads. And, my show's stream in 1080. So, it would be a bit of an ask for Discord to swallow an entire show. And it would be after the fact anyway, because these are live. So, yeah, you kind of can watch in Discord. But for real-time interaction and so on, come here to YouTube. And interact with us in the chats like you have been. And that's fine. Sorry about that. No, I'm not doing bong rips. No, that's not me. No, you can come in and just listen and interact here. Declar says, like a lot of grognards, I tend to be more comfortable with physical media, but having the PDF for searches has grown on me. Yeah, I like having the PDF for searches. When I run the Monday night game, I'm on two 27-inch displays with all the space in the world, multiple tabs and so on and etc. And yeah, being able to word search for key things, it's like disintegrate. And it finds it. Now, a lot of times, Acrobat has a little bit of a stroke. And like I might be trying, disintegrate. Well, the letters D and I appear hundreds and hundreds of times in any given book, right? Put together. And it'll get ahead of itself and say, oh, DI? Yeah, there's 375 cases of DI showing up. Like, no, I meant disintegrate. So Adobe Acrobat will just kind of spaz out like that sometimes, and it's a pain in the ass. Rob says, something is wrong, probably on my side. The show shows nothing. It's blank. Okay. All right. There you go. So if you see there, Rob, if you clicked that, it would bring you over here to the live stream. If you clicked on the URL, it would open your browser. Or if you just clicked it, it'll embed it in whatever you're watching on Discord. So I hope that answers your question. So does anybody else, any questions, anyone, any comments, criticisms, negative, nasty remarks today? Monday, we're going to get back in. I keep saying we're going to get back to Greyhawk Gods. Monday, we're actually going to get back to Greyhawk Gods, and we're going to look at more aspects of Greyhawk Gods. I even over the weekend, even maybe if later today, I get all of the people who want to play, the 2 or 3 more people who want to come by on midday and do the How to Play D&D Play example mini campaign with me. I don't know that we'll start this coming Tuesday. Sure, Declare. Hang on a second. I don't know that we'll start this coming Tuesday. But what will happen this coming Tuesday is that we will have Monday post-game wrap-up where I'll talk about what the characters did. And you don't want to miss this one because I am currently running S4, Lost Caverns of Sojkanth. It kicks off this Monday night. The party will enter the Lortmill Mountains in search of Igwil's prize. And so their first encounters, this is going to be like a radio program. You're going to want to follow what's going on chapter by chapter with my soothing voice. You guys will want to follow that along. So that will definitely happen this coming Tuesday. If we get the Tuesday play example game going and it stays midday, I may move game wrap up to Thursday because Wednesday is BS time with Kyle, and Kyle likes to talk too. So me sitting here running my mouth and catching you guys up on what the players did for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, while Kyle sits there and twiddles his thumbs, that ain't just, that's just damn rude. All right. So I may move game summaries to Thursday. So if you've gotten addicted to hearing it fresh off the presses and getting that rich, fruity goodness of the Monday night game first thing on Tuesday morning, if we do the play example on Tuesday, I may move that. Or I may put it at the end and just do an extra long stream on Tuesday. That could happen. We'll just have to see how it unfolds, guys. I'm like the pig killer from Beyond Thunderdome. Plan? Ain't no plan. But anyway, barring any additional questions from you guys, and I'm keeping an eye on the chat, I'm making sure, Lost Caverns can be brutal. Yes, they can. This is a high-level party. Well, one of the highest level parties I've ever taken from low level to high. But just the same, if they think they're going to have an easy time in Lost Caverns, they're wrong. But anyway, yeah, that's just about what I've got for today. I'm going to ease on down the road. Tomorrow, big football day. I talked a little bit about college football. Now, I'm going to... Can't we just get Beyond Thunderdome? I understood that reference. Now, let me just throw this out here, because this is completely out of left field. I'm just kind of kicking this out here, guys. If there's anybody out there, there is no such thing as an easy time in the classic models. Declare, you are absolutely right. This will be the one and the only time, probably, I won't say it 100%, there will ever be a great cross riff of what I do on Sunday mornings and what I do with you guys 5 days a week. Sunday mornings, myself and 3 other aficionados of college football we have a live stream that we do on Sunday mornings where we wrap up Alabama Crimson Tide games. We do highlights, so on and etc. Then we do scores around the Southeastern Conference. Then we do the top 25. And we talk about college football as it unfolded. Any games, any huge, miraculous games that happened. Rob, you're fired. Anyway, if that interests you at all, here is the channel where we live stream. If you want to, just check us out. And if it's not your jam, don't be like, oh, well, Delver's on it, so I guess I'll go listen to it. No. It is for college football fans. You're never going to hear me talk about D&D on it. As much as you might hear me talk about Alabama football on this stream, I don't surreptitiously fit in D&D references. I did once, but I think it was ill-conceived. But anyway, so if you like college football and you want to listen to a sports podcast, you can come and check us out. We focus just on the Alabama Crimson Tide team primarily, but we do give attention to the top 10 teams, the Southeastern Conference, and the top 25. So, and I have some great co-hosts there. Jessica Brand is hands down one of the sharpest analytical minds, breaking down plays and statistics of plays. Her Twitter handle is Sabermetric Queen, which sabermetrics are like this statistical analysis. It's nuts. It's nuts. That's how sharp she is. But anyway, so you can come check us out if you want to. But I'm going to go ahead and jet for today. A gnome illusionist disguised as a North God Thunder Gnome. Oh, you're fired. You're fired. Turn in your security badge, Rob. Y'all have an absolutely fantastic day. I like being here. I like doing this, and I like hanging around with y'all. Stop on by the Discord. Say hello. We're fun, folks. And just to remind you, because I just want to go over this one more time. 803 subscribers is where we're at, guys. We're 197 subscribers from having a convention. Do you want to have a gaming convention? Even if it is virtual. But if you've never done the con thing before, do you want to have one for free? Seriously. That's what the great underground virtual gaming con is going to be. A free convention for you guys to come and sit and play classic games. I'm going to run games. Kyle's going to run games. Anybody who wants to step up and volunteer in that space can run games. Run your favorite classic role-playing games. You can do it. When we hit 1,000 subs on the YouTube channel, when we hit that 1,000, 1K is the goal. And it's going to be glorious. Now, I made that announcement back when we were in the high 500s. Okay? I didn't dream. That was not that long ago. You can check out the videos. If you've been systematically going through the videos on the channel, listening to these live streams, and you're like, well, that wasn't that long ago. You're right. It wasn't that long ago. And look how fast we've come. Look how 300 subs in 3 months? Less? So we can do this, guys. We can get that last 197 subs. You guys, by putting the word out there, by liking, subscribing, clicking the bell icon, and engaging, are building your own convention. And I love it. I love it. I'm going to do it for you guys because you guys are awesome. I have a fantastic audience. So just keep that in mind. All right? Tell your friends, tell your family, like, subscribe, click the bell icon, spread the word out there. Reddit, Discord, Twitter, other Facebook groups that I'm not on, Usenet. email, listserv, FidoNet. Just however, let's get to 1,000 subs on the channel and let's have that convention. And it'll be a blast. You guys have a great day. Have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you all Monday. Love you.